Well, as you might be able to guess by the absolute mess of equipment here, I'm heading out again. I've decided, given a predicted break in the weather, I'm finally going to go to the Cheviot. The Cheviot is Northumberland's highest peak in the Northumbrian Mountains, appropriately. Though to call them mountains would be generous, they're more like large hills, but still, they're pretty stunning. Great piece of landscape. And it's actually one I've been looking at for years to do. I used to live a bit closer to them than I do now. Used to see them like off in the distance. In fact, I still can from certain areas not too far from me. And they've always just been kind of this like distant allure. Like when I first got into the idea of like mountain and hill walking, it was like I'd just see that in the distance, thinking, yeah, that would be a nice one to try. It's like kind of off in the distance. It's a bit mysterious. It's kind of covered in cloud a lot of the time, kind of misty, kind of cool. And I did try and get there years and years ago when I went to my first sort of conference and talk with the British Mountaineering Council. It's more to do with rock climbing than anything else, but still was very interesting. And then after it, we camped out around Wooler, and then some of them went off to climb rocks. I wasn't quite there at that point, but I decided to do some hill walking, see if I could get the Cheviot. It went the wrong way, misidentified Auchope Hill as the Cheviot for a while. This is before I really got to know the area very well. This is like way early on, like really need to do more research before you like head out in the hills. I'm much more learned now. Yeah, despite the fact I've done like stuff in the Lake District and like other areas, still haven't done the Cheviot. It's just been waiting there for years. And as I said, there's a predicted break in the weather because the Cheviots themselves, the whole range, are like something of a rain magnet. But there's a chance if I get there late, it may be dry later today and early tomorrow. So I'm going to try and get there later today. Well, just leaving Wooler now. Oh, I'd say there's a pretty nice breeze, but might be among the last amount of shade I'm going to get for a while. At least I have a slightly better idea of where I'm going now. I also have a map and compass. Although I'll be honest, I am using an app right now to point the main way. For about 2/3 of the trip though, I am just going to be following the roads. Still on the road on the way there. There's Langley Crags, some more crags, and there's Auchope, and somewhere up there will be the Cheviot. I'm still not quite sure I'm going to sleep tonight. It is a bit windy, so I might head up to one of the hilltops. Maybe see if I can find a cairn or some other shelter, find some rocks. Well, this is a surprise. I knew there was some water features around here, but I wasn't expecting a nice waterfall like this. I could probably get a little bit closer, but there's also a risk I'm going to fall into that. So, pretty just a bit of photography from the distance is going to have to do. Man, that is beautiful though. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Oh, never mind. You don't need to see me. Oh, this valley just keeps going up and up. Well, on and on. It's starting to go up and up, which is actually a good thing, which means I'm finally come to the end of this valley and I'll be back on the main trail again. Oh, I am tired. But you can kind of feel it now that it is coming to the end of the valley, so we'll get back on the trail. Obviously, we'll see how windy those are and see if we can find any shelter. If the hilltops and the cairns aren't going to be good enough, I might try and make it to the hut. It's a bit further on, but it's a solid structure. And you know what, even if there's people there and it might be a bit full, I can at least camp on the outside of it, should get some break from the wind. Just keep going. Don't want to keep stopping to take photos because it's just going to take me longer to get out of here. And there's so many streams and burns I have to cross. Just the more there is, the more likely I'm going to end up in it. So let's get out of here. mile at Cairn Hill, and then we'll see what that's like. But check out this view so far. Hey, there's Auchope Hill. Wow, it's crazy because you can see like the Cheviot and Auchope Hill from just miles and miles away. Oh, and super far off in the distance. Let's see if I can just zoom in a little bit. That little ridge up there at Simonside. Let's check out Cairn Hill. See the state of the cairns. And try and work other places. So, found a cairn. Question is it going to be good enough for me to sleep in? Oh, look at that view though. And that's the Cheviot over there. I can see bumps, but I can't see anything that's definitely a cairn. There's a trick point. It could well be a case of, well, I know the top is relatively flat, so you actually don't see much from the top, so it could just be obscured. I mean, it's actually quite well sheltered, but difficult to put a tent up there. So it is actually starting to get quite cold. Yeah, the Cairn Hill really didn't provide much in the way of like a windbreak. So I'm actually going a bit further off the map, which isn't totally advised. I didn't bring the sections for this area, but a quick look online, and I have researched it before, so I don't think it's too difficult to get to. I'm looking for the mountain refuge hut, because if I can get in there, I'll probably feel a lot more safe and secure. I'm kind of on the English-Scottish border now, so that's interesting. But yeah, just apparently if you just keep following this path, which is part of the Pennine Way, I should get to it. There's a pretty awesome peak here, and also I think that might be the hut, like way down there. At least I hope it is. We're heading down anyway, because if nothing else, Lower Grant should be a bit more sheltered from the elements. Well, there it is. Not much bigger than a shed, but there it is. Right, it's probably not the easiest thing to see, because there's like no electric lights here, obviously, but that's the door there. There's a few bits of graffiti on the wall, but it's fine. Little sweeping brush and things. No, this is cool. It's a sleeping bag. People have left food supplies, camping gas, a book, a toilet roll, food even, and there's a visitor's book, which I am definitely going to fill in. And hey, someone's left an Instagram, the Northern Navigator. I might even check them out. Maybe I should leave a message somewhere. I don't think I have a black marker though. Probably don't need this, though, to be honest. If no one else is using it, I might. Oh, sorry, bleed light in the way. Yeah, this is really cool. And hey, look, there's the view. I can hear the wind batting down, but God, this place is pretty warm, so not too bad. I'm feeling a bit better about being in here, though. I'm going to go outside just to take some pictures. Man, this is just absolutely gorgeous views. Yeah, that's the hill I'm going to have to get up to get back on track in the morning. Look at this, man. It is stunning. To be honest, this is working out as a bit of a windbreak. So, God, even if I did have a camp out here, which I don't, wouldn't be too bad. Beautiful. Right. So, I've just got like food heating up here, and I'm gonna try and rest as much as I can. I'm gonna get another sleeping bag and just try and keep warm. Socks are pretty damp. I've got those hanging up. I did bring one spare. I really should have brought more though. Trousers are a little damp as well, but again, I don't think there's much I can really do about either of those things. The real kicker though, so to say, was this. My right boot. The sole of it has just ripped off when I've tried, and I've just, oh shit, just a second. Sorry, nearly lost my dinner there. It was about to fall off the little stove. Anyway, yeah, just took off my boot there, and the sole just ripped off. Fuck me, do you know what? If I was just about anywhere else I go to, like at the usual campsite, or fucking hell, like even if I was in Simon's side and I was like part the way up, probably just be tempted to kind of pack it in and go, okay, well, this kind of sucks. I might just head back a bit early. Don't have the option here. I'm like so far out in the middle of nowhere, the wilderness, that to get home, I still have to basically travel back about the same distance as like it took for me to get here. So it's still going to be like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours of walking. So as you can see, I've kind of tied it up best I can, but God, I just don't have any other options. So tomorrow's going to suck. Probably. There's going to be some rain expected as well. Luckily, I brought some waterproofs to put on. I'm just not going to be in a good mood. But it happens. It happens. God, at least I'm in this hut though. Like, this hut is just a lifesaver. It's not as fun doing this stuff on your own though. I think it's my one main regret. And not wearing better shoes. Do you know what? These are like my less good shoes as well. And I wore them because it was like, I don't know if I'm going to get much use out of these, and may as well just run them out until like it's time to get rid of them. Well, that time is now, apparently. So I just have to suffer with those until I can walk all the way back from this hut over the Cheviot hills, then back to Wooler, and then get like 2 buses home. I'm going to eat some of this hot chicken, and I even warmed up my cider. I'm just to help keep me a bit warm, and got a nice warm coffee as well, and then I suppose I'll try and get some sleep and charge my phone a bit and maybe listen to some music. After 6, so 3 hours after my original plan of getting up early, but when it got to 3 a.m, God, it was cold and the wind was just brutal. So figured that may as well not make things overly difficult for myself, and just wait till it got a little light, so a little bit warmer, and see if the wind died down. Don't know if the wind has died down at all, but I do have to get going anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna get home a little later than planned. We just have to head off. Not looking forward to walking on this damaged shoe, and obviously it'll be a bit cold and miserable, but it's the Northern Hills for you. So it's not raining right now as I'm getting ready to leave, but there's a good chance it might, and I don't want to be faffing around putting on like the overalls, so I'm putting them on now. And what it is actually, it is cloud covered on the top, which frequently happens here. It happened my first, was it my first? No, it happened on my second visit, the Cheviot, when I went to do Auchope. Like, cloud just rolled in suddenly, and yeah, can't see too well through this window. But yeah, that was clear yesterday evening. There is cloud rolled over the top. So at the very least, I am glad I have the map. I mean, I don't have the map for this section here, but it's pretty straight. You just follow the path and you'll get back. Glad I have a map for the Cheviot tops, because yeah, it'll be a bit easier to get lost on a day like today, and you shouldn't really rely on apps. You should really read the compass and map, which I do, at least at the basic level. Did quite a lot yesterday for navigation, so that's not too bad. God, this is a great little place. Glad it's here. That's cool. Anyway, got my tin of beans on the floor there. Got my damp broken boots, and damp socks, which I'm probably going to put on just for an extra layer of padding, even though it'll make my feet feel cold and shit. Hear me, but this is what I passed yesterday. This is what appears to be some of the plane wreckage. I don't know if it's the wreckage from the American bomber, but likely is, just sort of where we are. And as I kind of briefly mentioned before, I knew this was here, and from like a historical, like exploration perspective, it is kind of cool to see stuff like this, like still around and still visible. Yeah, it's a lot more moving than I kind of thought would be. Just trying to imagine, like, having to go through war anyway, which is, you know, when you take off going runs like that, there's always a great chance you're going to die anyway. And with all due respect to the Cheviots, just imagining being on a run like that and then just unexpectedly smashing into this, well, desolate and sometimes miserable place. Having your brothers in arms, some of them die, others wounded, and survivors having to try and make their way down. Especially on a day like this. I don't know if they crashed at night or if it was through like thick fog. It's just hard to imagine like how tough that would have been. On top of, you know, everything else. Oh wow, there's more pieces down here. Oh god, I can't imagine. Well, a souvenir for less scrupulous people than me. I know I take mementos from places like this, especially I like history, but leave this to rest where it is. Yeah, I don't know what these parts are, obviously, because I don't know anything about planes, but you know, rest in peace. It really is quite grim when you sort of take in an atmosphere like this and just know what happened here. Just gonna take a couple of photos and I'm gonna get going on my objective. Well, we're back at Can Hill, the place I didn't end up staying at. It's a lot, visibility's a lot poorer today. We are walking into cloud now. To be honest, despite the fact it wasn't terribly suitable for me to set up my tent, I mean, it wouldn't have been too bad. Just, a little nervous on my own with the wind, and I really did not bring the best tent for the job, to be honest. I really should have brought the Cheviot 2 tent, because that thing is like way more stable. Despite that, it would be a pretty decent site if I was bivouacking, like just to, just set up a bed in there and sleep under the sky. So I'm going to keep that in mind for coming back here again, because that is actually a really good bivvy spot. Obviously depending on rain, but it happens. Alright, Cheviot Summit, 3/4 of a mile. This is it. Camera picks it up very well. I can see it very, very faintly at the end of this path in the cloud mist, whatever. Same thing, really. Just slowly emerging. That's it. That's the trig point. The Cheviot. We're finally descending. If I can here, it's kind of cool. Now the paved path has sort of ended now, so navigation might be a touch trickier as well as keeping balance down. Yeah, I'm just going to focus on my steps, so probably not as much video until I get a bit lower down. Alright, the valley's starting to open up again. I think I'm starting to get into the cloud cover gradually anyway. There's Auchope, yay! Apparently this path takes me to Scald Hill, so I guess I'll head there and then follow the route all the way back down to the bottom of the valley and then head back to Wola. Alright, this is Scald Hill coming up too. This is the last peak of this trip. Unfortunately, it's on the route back, so I won't really be wasting any time going up this and down again. Did leave later than planned, so I'm definitely not going to get back by 11. Let's try and get an earlier bus if I can, so I'm not out here all day. As lovely as the Cheviot and Wola is, I do want to get home because I am stinking. I want to get this broken boot off my foot in a safe place, and I still have to do my jogging today, and my other workout, that one's up in the air. My body might actually need a bit of a rest after this. We'll see. Anyway, let's go. Alright, there's no real marker for this, apart from this charming little cairn here, but this is Scald Hill. There's Auchope. There's the Cheviot. And there's me, getting ready to go down. Oh well, we're back in the valley. But at least we're halfway through the valley and we're on the established paths. So, no hopping over streams and through mud. Like clattering up this stupid boot. Alright, finally getting down into Wola now. God, it's not that long a journey from like where I was at the valley to here, but just clearly by the way they feel, both my feet are blistered, so walking is painful. and I'm just kind of looking forward to maybe changing footwear and sitting down. Hey, and Waller, let's go get some stuff and see if I can ease my suffering slightly. It's kind of crazy, like it feels like I've been away for like a full weekend, obviously, because I've like done quite a lot of like walking, ascending, descending, loads of misery and physical strain, fun stuff. But no, I've been away less than, like, I left home less than 24 hours ago. I'm in the process of going back now, so not long at all, just action-packed time, I guess. Oh, chip place, my goodness, that is tempting. So I've got some second-hand boots with a name relating to an ideology that I hate, and some novelty socks which I would never wear myself usually, but right now I am not picky. Oh, and I didn't demonstrate this earlier because it might have caused more damage than necessary, but now I'm getting rid of them. Let me show you what the problem with this shoe is. Yep. I'm surprised I made it back, still wearing this. Okay, this is kind of gross for everyone else in town, but I am gonna let my feet out for a few minutes while I'm sitting down before subjecting them to more walking. Ah, the luxury of dry feet. Get in there. All is well with the world. Alright, been a couple of days now. Interesting trip all around. My ankles and legs are actually still a little bit sore. I have been keeping up the daily jogs, at least so far. I actually did one more or less as soon as I got back in the house. Like I dropped off all the heavy stuff I've been carrying, and then just went out for a run for just a short one, 20 minutes. And same with yesterday. To be honest, probably going to be the same this morning when I go. Just to sort of allow the legs to heal a little bit, because I do have a 5K coming up this weekend as shit, as well as like the week after that I've got the 10K race for life, so that's something. So how do I feel after that little trip? It was cool. The plan originally, of course, was to camp out on the hilltops. It was a bit windy and it did make me a little bit apprehensive, especially with the tent I have, because it was like a tunnel tent. And a tunnel tent with a damaged pool. To be honest, I should have brought the Cheviot too, because that would have been much more sturdy. It wasn't like super windy, but still, it was enough to give me a bit pause, which is why I ended up seeking out the hut for refuge. And yeah, it's kind of cool because, yeah, as I said, I wanted to do the Cheviot for ages. It was like one of the first sort of hills and peaks that when I decided to start getting into like hiking, climbing, and hill walking, it was one of the first things that was sort of within my area when I was living in like further in Northumberland at the time. And yeah, kept wondering about if I would say something profound or think a profound thought when I eventually did get there, and I said nothing. Just pretty much nothing. That was cool though. Like, usually a cloud cover would be a little bit of a dampener on top of a peak, just because it would obscure the view. But the way the Cheviot is it's so like flat at the top that you actually don't see a whole lot anyway. At least right on top, there's some better views like when you're sort of on the edges. And I kind of liked it. The cloud did give it a sort of mystical effect. And man, if I'm sort of in the Northumberland area or near it now, and like I see those hills on the horizon, I can now like look at them and think, man, I finally did it. Like, this tiny little insignificant, well, in the grand scheme of things, this tiny little challenge I set myself ages ago, this small little victory is finally been made, and yeah. Oh, I still have to edit the video and things, which I'll be doing a bit of today. I'll try and get finished, but I am actually going away somewhere else briefly. So, anyway, casualties. My feet are still a little bit blistered, but that's fine. To be honest, I really shouldn't have worn those boots that I brought, and them falling to pieces was kind of a proof of that, so that sucked. I also lost one of the lenses of my goggle sort of glasses here. Because you can kind of just pop these out to change them around, so at some point I've lost one of those, so if between the Cheviot and Scald Hill, if you find a lens like this, feel free to keep it, I guess. Fortunately, this did come with spares, so I can just put another one in place. Oh, old reliable canister I probably had with me for as long as I started doing this sort of thing. Like when I bought my initial stove and can of gas, it was this. So this has been a companion with me for years now. Never ran out. Eventually has given up the ghost in the refuge hut. So I actually feel weirdly sentimental about this can, and I'm gonna keep it. I'm just gonna put it somewhere as like a little memento. But yep, she finally gave up the ghost. There's nothing shaking in there anymore, but it's old reliable. Yep, boots already mentioned. Threw those in the trash. And yeah, I think I'm still kind of processing it. And I still have a video to make. I've posted like some pictures online if you follow me on my social medias, which I don't expect you to because it's a tiny insignificant channel, this one. Yeah, it was cool also just sharing them with some like-minded people who also do like hiking and climbing, especially around like England and Northumbria. So that was nice. But yeah, I guess I just gotta get on with things now and then think about what my next target's gonna be. There's still a fair few peaks in the Lake District I want to hit. I've got the Yorkshire 3 peaks I want to do, and well, of course we've got Wales and Scotland a bit further along. Let's just get in whatever practice we can. Though of course my main physical challenge coming up is going to be the 10K. Now, if you do watch my channels, you'll probably know I do 10Ks fairly regular, so it's not going to be like too much of a challenge for me. Though I am going to try and sort of treat it a bit more like a race and see if I can get a good time at least. So, and it's charity, so give if you can while it's still open. Anyway, I'm just going to go on and on. I need to get going. So thank you very much and hope you enjoyed the video.